G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Sunday, the 4th of July, 2021, and the time here is 09:15 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Well, folks, plenty going on, and I'll explain everything after we do our sponsor. This is my sponsor, Totally Rawesome, who make, amongst other things, golden activated turmeric paste, which is, quite frankly, if you haven't tried it for joint inflammation, arthritis, or etc., then folks, seriously, you're missing out. And just for your general health, I take this stuff every day. It is amazing. It works. Everybody that I've recommended it to, old, young, etc., have all tried it and all rave about it. You can get some by contacting them on 0433 165 848 and info@totallyrawesome.com.au. And they do ship around the world, folks. Although there may be a surcharge for certain countries in regards to that. But give them a call, contact them. There's the mailing list there. Go get stuff. Okay, here we are. And look, I know it's been months since I did my last video. I had a bit of a nightmare uploading my last video, thanks to YouTube. And I decided just to kick back for a while and see what was going on in the world anyway. And look, there's several reasons why I haven't done a video. I've just been bloody busy, folks. And I mean, at home here, I'm trying to finish off the acreage and turn it into a vegetable garden, because my long-term aim is to produce produce, I'm not sure how you say that, year round, 12 months of the year. So I'm building garden beds, etc., to hopefully make that our earnings in the future, if that makes sense, or supplement our earnings, because as you know, as you get older, things don't go so easy, and somewhere along the line, it just amazes me how the baby boomers, which I guess I'm one, the generation just before me, seem to retire with money enough to live on, and our generations and generations after us no longer have that luxury. It just astounds me. Even if you got super, there's no guarantee. There's just no guarantee that you're ever going to have money later in life, which is probably why everyone's going to Bitcoin. But anyway, that's a whole other argument. Right, that's one reason. Number two, house renos taken over my life a bit, and I'm not apologising for that. I need to get stuff done, and it probably takes precedence over a lot of things. So I've been doing that. Number three, I wanted to just kick back and see how and why, what was happening in the world as regards to some of my predictions and stuff. And quite frankly, they've all come true. Now, I'm going to show you a video in a second, or a link to a video, which in my mind, here in Australia, sorry, before I say that, I'm wondering in America, if you guys can get this video and share it with Dr. Naomi Wolf, who's on the War Room, because this is exactly what she was talking about, and is now going on worldwide as regards to vaccine passports, and all this sort of crap. So our Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, let me show you the thing first. He came out the other day, and this is the link here. I'll give it to you on YouTube. I'll do it so you can actually read the link. It's from the 9 News Australia. PM announces 4 crucial phases for Australia pathway out of COVID-19. Now, in my mind, that's the day that democracy died in Australia. And you might say, well, that's pretty heavy-handed. Well, I would ask you to watch the video. This is some pretty sinister communist style stuff, folks, that these guys are actually proposing here. Now, remember when this all started, everybody was like, oh yeah, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Well, when the big PR started from the government to the news agencies, it was all about, oh, we're going to stop it, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, blah, blah, blah. 6 months later, a vaccine came out miraculously in 6 months or whatever it was, like super high, fast. Now, if you're a person who takes vaccines, good luck to you. I'm not taking it. I haven't taken a flu vaccine for years and years, because the last time I took it, I was continually getting sick, and I mean dead sick, for months every time I took them, and I said, I'm not doing it anymore. Came under some grief from work and all that sort of stuff, but I said, no, shove it up your ass. I'm not doing it. I'd rather get sick with the flu. So the government set out this propaganda type stuff like, yeah, get the vaccine, get the vaccine, get the vaccine, get the vaccine, drumming it into your brain, right? Then, of course, got all the PR gurus on top of it as well, and then all the showbiz hosts and that, you know, showing them with their arm, getting the jab, and it's your shot, it's our shot, get it, you know, blah, blah, blah. Right. Well, that's the PR has now transferred over to, if you watch the news, which I don't very regularly, but if I do, I have to turn it off now. I can't watch it. It makes me feel physically sick. To the news crews interviewing people, usually old people, or people, and funny enough, people who were at airports, saying things like they should jail them and fine people who are not vaccinated, and this is all after this 19-year-old girl, right? If you're in America, we had a 19-year-old girl who was working in as a COVID vaccine receptionist. 19. So she's in no danger of giving the getting, or dying from the vaccine. So the last thing on her mind is, why would I get a vaccine for something that's not going to kill me? So I'm guessing that's the way that a lot of them are thinking. So she's working for the government at a COVID reception centre, got COVID, travelled around Queensland, gave it to various people, and the people literally want to lynch her. Some of the vitriol coming out of some of these people was just like, why don't we now build stocks in the mall so that we can throw rocks and fruit at these people, chain them up, and we'll throw shit at them. This is the type of vitriol you're getting. At no stage did anybody, and I mean anybody, which was hugely irresponsible, remind everybody that this was a 19-year-old young woman, 19 years old. It's just disgusting. Now, because of that, and obviously there's been, a few other cases here that have just happened to happen just as we're going into school holidays. Everything gets shut down again. And even my wife, who's a bit conspiratorial skeptic, even she's now starting to say, have you noticed they keep doing this on Mother's Day, Father's Day, school holidays, Christmas, Easter? She said, it always seems to be around the holidays. And I said, well, why are you surprised? I said, I could get the calendar out and I'll pick the dates and I'll put a circle around the dates on the calendar, and I can guarantee you that that's when this is going to go tits up again. And she said, ha, 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 that's not funny. I said, I'm not being funny. I'm being serious. I think I can actually telegraph to you exactly what days they're going to do this shit. So look, in this, it's not an interview. Prime Minister's coming out and addressing the nation. Scarily, he says a lot of things in this, but one of the big things that he says, and I'll tell you how prevalent it is in this video. You have to watch the video. It's about 12 minutes in, something like that. He goes, oh, and border passports. And right, when he says this, there's all the reporters there. There is a dead silence. Now, before he even says this, he knows what he's saying, right? And he thinks, oh, this is going to be the one where everybody's going to start yelling at me. So in his mind, he's thinking to himself, how am I going to say this? And in the end, he thinks the best way I can say it is to say it quickly. No one hears it. I move on. But here's what he does. He gets to the point. He says it. He stumbles. And then he goes, oh, and we're going to do border passports. Now, the expression, I believe, is the air gets sucked out of the room, even though they're not in a room, they're outside. But you can literally hear the air just, and in that split second where there's no air, nobody says anything. So in my mind, that's the day that the democracy died in Australia, because these clowns are actually now going to have full border lockdowns. They're going to make it so that, for example, I live in the southeast Queensland, 4 k's from the New South Wales border. It's not even that far. Actually, from my house, it's not even 500 metres over the road to the New South Wales border. So if I want to drive across the border, I now have to have a vaccine passport. So the Border Patrol, and what he said was, on your phone, or you'll have a little book and a bit of this piece of paper, and they'll go, the policeman will go, there you go, there's your thingo, beep. These people are communists. These people are Marxists. Do you understand that? They are not going to stop. So the day on Friday when he announced this thing, that was the day that democracy died in this country, in Australia. And I hope a lot of people are starting to understand that. These people are just crazy. Literally crazy. They're pathologically crazy. Now, we're dealing with a virus that was, who knows where it came from. I don't really care. Well, I do, but look, that's irrelevant to me at the moment. What I'm more worried about is the redemption of my rights, the taking away of my liberty to be able to do things, and my children. So, you know, look, as I said, I'll leave the link for that. Please, if you're in Australia, and I guarantee you a lot of Australians haven't watched this, because we don't watch our politicians talk, because it's mind-numbingly boring for a start, and we're disenfranchised to the part where you just don't care what they say anymore. Well, you better start caring, because what he says in this is actually pretty devastating for our democracy. They are going to stop you doing stuff, folks, if you haven't got a digital passport. Now, there might be people out there saying, well, I'll give you an example. In the future, I won't be able to get on a plane and fly to Western Australia. Not going to happen, because I haven't got a vaccine. And there will be court cases where people go, that's not right, I can't, blah, 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 blah. And the courts will rule with the government and say, no, for the health and the safety of the country, that's not going to happen. So, look, as I said, these people are crazy. Okay, sorry about that. Family interruption. I'm going to show you some stuff as regards to China because it's sickeningly worrying what's going on. So let me go to that now. Before I do that, here's something interesting. I've been trying to find stuff about China, right? And I go around the newspapers around the world, and they're just not reporting it. And here's the ironic thing. Here in Australia, we've got two of the best sources for this thing that's happening with China. Sky News and, ironically, the ABC webpage, newspaper online, news online. Now, when you go into the search engine, don't type in China, type in Taiwan, because it's all tied in with Taiwan, what's happening at the moment. So I'm going to show you that now. So this is the ABC search engine on their news page. And like I said, if you look in the top left-hand side there, where my cursor is now, you type in Taiwan, and this is what comes up. Now, if you guys didn't see this nutbag, this roly-poly panda bear the other day, he basically told the world that they are going to take Taiwan. And big middle finger to you guys, that's what's happening. If you don't like it and you're in the way, we're going to bomb the shit out of you. It's there. You can actually read. If you watch this guy, he actually says that. He doesn't mince his words. He just says, if you guys are in the way, we're going to bomb you. Now, go down the page a bit. This is the most worrying bit. This one here. Beijing conducts biggest Air Force flyby of Taiwan to date in response to acts of collusion. Okay, acts of collusion by who? The Taiwanese army, the Taiwanese rebels? Nah. The acts of collusion were by the US, Australia, Canada, UK, and France for actually having the temerity to actually put their ships up there and to actually call Taiwan as a country. Now, I've got grave reservations for anybody who's in Taiwan. If you have family in Taiwan, tell them to get the hell out, because what's going to happen is these guys are going to bomb the shit out of Taiwan. They're going to lay waste to Taiwan. Sounds extreme and a bit on that. There's probably people thinking that the way the Chinese are going to take Taiwan is by rowing a boat over, a couple of paramilitaries jump out of the harbour with guns. Yep, we're taking over Taiwan. That's not what's going to happen. And the reason it's not going to happen is because you have to understand the feudal system that exists between Taiwan and China. Taiwan was actually a state of China, always has been. A lot of people don't realise that. A province. During the feudal war, before the communists, or when the communists took over, the Grand General of the military split and ran away to Taiwan, taking half his people with him, and founded Taiwan in direct opposition to the Communist Party. Now, he was a bit of a nutbag himself. He was a bit of a dictator. He was terrible. I can't remember his name, but this is all fact. You can read about it. And then eventually they started turning towards democracy, blah, 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 which has always irked China because they are the biggest nutbags running around. They're just pathological killers. So they resisted from going into Taiwan directly and let it just go on as it is. And now, because of what it is and because of what they are, they're going to prove a point to everybody in the world as to what happens to people when they stand up to China, and two, to prove to the world that China is there, that Taiwan is theirs. So if you happen to be an American warship sailing around the Straits of Taiwan at the time, which I'm kind of thinking when this all happens, that shit might not be in between there. It might just be around the other side of the island somewhere, floating around in the Chinese Sea. Call me crazy. Conspiratorial. So look, what's coming for Taiwan, I think, is just complete devastation. And the other reason is because China needs Taiwan to stop making all the digital chips it makes for the rest of the world. How do you do that? Well, you bomb the shit out of the place and you take out all their factories where they're making this stuff. And where do you have to make it? China. So look, there's some bad times coming for Taiwan. And if you have anybody there, you need to tell them to get out now. Go to anywhere. Anywhere is going to be better than Taiwan. Seriously, and I'm being dead serious. You guys think I'm joking? That that flyover that they did the other day, it wasn't just a couple of planes. That was like a full unit of you had fighter jets, bombers, stealth bombers, little Grundoon planes, a sub, some destroyers hanging off the coast. Like this was a full-on. Like they buzzed the city of Taiwan. Like this was full-on. Taiwan was quite within their rights to actually blow these things out of the sky, but they didn't, thank God, because then it would have been full-on. So this wasn't just like a general, let's just send a couple of fighter jets over. No, this was a full-on squadron. You're talking 50 plus planes, I think it was. Fully loaded, by the way, with bombs. They knew they were loaded. So yeah, it's happening, put it that way. So the last thing I want to talk about, because this is going to drag on a bit, is here in Australia. So what can we do to start preparing for what's coming? As I've always said, you need to make sure you've got at least 3 months supply, which is not easy. We've just gone through all of ours again and replenished ours. And we haven't even started really, and we're like not even halfway through it because we've got stuff that's years old and we've got to get rid of it. It's not easy, folks. So start doing it now. Even if you have to buy meal replacement things, just get them. Better to have a month's supply of those than nothing, even a week. Right? Now, this thing with the democracy in Australia dying on Friday, I'm being dead serious. I'm not joking about this. Now, if you listen to these clowns, the PR machine's telling you, oh, this is all going to happen by the end of the year, blah, blah, blah. No. This is all going to happen in the next couple of weeks, couple of months. You're talking 8 weeks max. These guys are pathologically crazy. Seriously, crazy. They're actually crazy. And you're starting to see the divisions in the parliament itself between the people who think that these people are crazy and some of the things that they're saying are crazy and not just true, they're just crazy. So some of these politicians are now starting to say, hey, hang on a minute, what are you talking about? Not many, but some. So look, you need to start getting yourself ready, guys. And I mean that in all seriousness. I don't know too much about the mark of the beast and all this sort of stuff they write about in the Bible, but Jesus, this is getting a bit full on, isn't it? So look, I've had my rant. Like I said, if you guys can share this link of that video with Dr. Naomi Wolf so she can see and report on to the world via the war room exactly what's going on here, she's right. These people are crazy. And I've got a good friends who've taken the vaccine because they want to fly somewhere. One last thing that I'm going to say to you all on these vaccines. If these vaccines are so good, why on any printed paper that they've written about these things does it say after them EUO? Do you know what that stands for? Emergency use only. These have never been passed by anyone, folks. EUO. Let's do the prayers. Yeah, look, you guys don't know this, but yesterday I tried to do 2 videos and it turned out pear-shaped for some reason. I don't know why. But look, there was a Bible verse yesterday that came up talking about what I was talking about, and the Bible verse came up and I thought, oh, man, you got to be kidding me. So I'm going to read that Bible verse today, even though it's not the Bible verse for today. So I hope you guys understand the significance of the Bible verse. So let's read that. It's from Jeremiah 7:9-10. The heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure. Who can understand it? I, the Lord, search the heart and examine the mind, to reward each person according to their conduct, according to what their deeds deserve. Wow. Not being religious, but that is a mind-blowing, that says everything. That Bible verse says everything that I was trying to say. And as always, folks, we'll finish with the Lord's Prayer, because, man, do we need it now. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Listen to the words. I'll start again. Listen to the words, folks. Listen to the words. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Think about those words. The more I read them, the more I'm starting to understand them and how they transpire back to what we're going through right now. Anyway, folks, to all my Aussie patriots out there, chin up, keep battling, because it's going to get harder. It ain't going to get easier. You're kidding yourself if you think so. All right, folks, God bless. Prep out.